I don't have a lot of time, and we're only pulling from this deck, which is strange because I normally pull from the African Goddess Rising Oracle, but that is not what I'm led to do. Hi, I hope you're doing great. No incense, no candles. It rained a little bit ago. You can never tell, I was sitting out here in the rain, and it didn't touch me, so that's good. That's what I get for not paying attention. So yeah, I was just sitting here and it was raining, and I'm just like, I felt led to do a video, and I felt led to do a video with this deck, and I felt to do a video with this deck quickly. Maybe you don't have a lot of time. Maybe you need a quick one. I don't know what card is wanting to come out, but the video, I think I told you in the last video or something like that, I'm not sure. I haven't actually been rewatching my own stuff. But I don't think I'm supposed to post a video that I recorded, and so I'm just, that happens sometimes, and it's always just kind of like, Which is why I know that sometimes these videos are definitely for me to minister to myself. So maybe that's one thing you need to kind of tap into, is learning how to pour into yourself and being a lot more dedicated with that. Yeah, okay. So you need to be told now too that, you gotta start pouring into yourself. Anyone yet? Anybody want to come out? Y'all are yelling but not saying anything. It's like my cat. This cat will come up to me and she'll be like, "Meh," and I'm like, what? And then nothing. Just needs to scream at me, the void. The void that feeds him. Yeah, I've just been shuffling for 2.5 minutes, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening here, but come on, Divine, let me know what we're up to. That one. Number 27, Queen of Unfelt Emotions. Look at that mask. Alright, it says here, unlike children who are good at letting emotions move through them instantly, as an adult you endure the pressures of daily life and can disconnect from your innermost feelings. Innermost is like 20th time I've heard that word, and I literally never use the word. Maybe those feelings were pushed away so long ago that you can't locate them anymore. You might sometimes even downplay your happy feelings and think that they are too much, or that you should not make a big deal of them. The Queen of Unfelt Emotions encourages you to feel. She embodies the aspect of you that holds buried emotions and represents the part of you that has been neglected or overlooked and yearn to be acknowledged and felt. Give this queen your loving attention. Yeah, you need to pour into yourself. You need to pour into yourself. And this is like sea energy. I've been hanging out with Yemaya, my spirit mom, for a little while. Where I live, it's just been like a perpetual deserty summer of like nothing, and for the last couple of weeks we've been getting rain. I have been asking very nicely for the divine to give me rain. Every time I get a little drizzle, I'm like, hey, thank you so much, can I have some more? So there's a lot of water energy that I'm sensing, or water influence. I don't know if it's you or the kind of energy that you need to be allowing in is what I'm hearing. I think that some of us are kind of going through a very similar Avatar The Last Airbender type of like path. Except like, yeah, 505, as I said that. I'll look up what that means, but you know, with Avatar The Last Airbender, if you have seen it or you haven't seen it, you know, he has to learn each bending technique. He has to master all 4 techniques, but he can't just do it all at once. He has to spend time on each individual one. And so I think a lot of us are kind of in that like musical, not even really musical chairs, but we're all kind of undulating with the divine in elemental ways, it feels like. My affinity is to water, but my sun sign is Earth. It's a Taurus. But my moon is a Scorpio, which is watery. So I have a very deep emotional bank. 555. So there's some water stuff going on with you, I'm sensing. Finding her within, it says, are there signs you recognize when your queen of unfelt emotions shows herself in you? You might notice areas in your body that get tense and uncomfortable, signaling the presence of unexpressed feelings. Remember how you successfully got in touch with your unfelt emotions in the past. Did they bubble up to the surface? And what was your doorway to uncover and release these feelings? Her gifts. Invite the Queen of Unfelt Emotions to reveal herself to you with compassion and openness. Create a safe space within yourself to explore and acknowledge these buried emotions without judgment or resistance, and allow yourself to feel whatever arises with gentleness and acceptance. Practice self-care, such as by taking a bath, journaling, meditating, or engaging in expressive arts to uncover and gently release these buried feelings. Remember that embracing and integrating your emotions paves the way for healing and transformation. When you let yourself feel sorrow, it opens your heart. With an open heart, you have a bigger capacity to also feel the joys of life. Yeah, this was a 1-card pull. And why I'm saying what I'm saying midway through this reading, some of us have affinity. So like in Avatar The Last Airbender, right? Like Aang is the last airbender, the very last one. He's it. And he was already training by the time the plot escalates. He was already training as an airbender in the air nomad temples. And so were pretty much everyone else, which obviously they were, because you can't bend all the things in that universe. You're either one type of bender or you're the avatar, and there's only one of those. And so, interestingly, like, of course, then there's the Legend of Korra. There are all the avatars before Aang, and all of these avatars have a totally different element that they are born into bending, essentially. They come from, a rotation, as it were. And I think a lot of us are in a very similar spiritual place, where, like, and we're all kind of mirroring each other, but also giving each other tips on things. And so I'll say this, like, if you have not connected with water before, water energy is incredibly focused on self-love, self-acceptance, nurturing, being in a place of receiving, and self-care. Those are the tips. I am personally actually transitioning into getting to know more about the earth in me. I'm very attuned to the water. I'm very much a little like mermaid bunny. Earth is really hard for me, despite how Taurus stubborn I am. It's the only part of me that's grounded is when I've decided that I'm doing what I'm doing, and I've decided that I want what I want, or I need what I need, or whatever it is. Like, that Taurus in me for sure. But I'm very my Scorpio moon is super, super loud. And so I'm learning how to really connect with the grounding of me. But when I started my journey, this time last year actually, and it's the 7/7 portal, so that also makes sense because Yemaya's number, my spirit mommy, Yemaya, spirit mommy's number is 7. 7 is a number of completion. 7 represents a Sabbath of some sort, so there might be, I've been hearing this lately, and again, probably more of an accountability thing, but I've been doing pretty good about this, but like, I'm not a Christian anymore, I'm not Seventh-day Adventist at all anymore, but I do keep a Sabbath now. I have chosen the Adventist Messianic Jew Saturday Sabbath as my Sabbath, and I practice it on my terms and my way with my divine parents. And you do have to rest. I do think that as you step into learning about your own spiritual water bending abilities and techniques, you'll find that the only way to really embody the fullness of that lesson is to remain very, very open to what loving yourself could look like. And that unfelt emotions, like that energy that you're feeling, it kind of reminds me of a video I've done a while back about my unaliving ideation journey and where I was, last year, literally a year ago. And I talked about Yemaya again, and I talked about that feeling of sinking to the bottom, only to discover that I was planting myself. And I think that imagery is still very, very appropriate for the here and now and in this reading. You're wearing a mask a lot. I see you. And maybe you're not feeling safe enough to take that mask off and feel how you really feel and allow. I think all of the most freeing moments in my journey since last year have been in the water and recognizing how safe it is to drown in those waters. It's a dark thing to say, but it's true. Whatever is knocking on the door of your heart, that nurturing water energy that I think you're feeling, it is safe to let that in. It is a type of drowning, and parts of you will no longer ever be the same. And yes, that can be scary. You never know what's going to happen when you embark on things like this. I said this on my short that I just posted, but I'll say it again. Unfelt emotions tend to lead to ego deaths. And honestly, when I was on my water journey and my self-love journey, I had to recognize that in order to love and accept myself completely, my ego had to take several fucking back seats, because my ego was built for a world I no longer reside in. And so that entity, it was gonna ruin everything good in my life, because it was only made to address the things that weren't so good in my life. And so I had to let go of that ego and let in the part of me that was like, I don't know everything, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to do this, but I have to. And I can't let what I've already experienced dictate what I've never, ever experienced before. And it was hard. Homie, it was hard. It's hard. It is very, very hard to be open in that capacity. You know, it does feel scary. With an open heart, you have a bigger capacity to also feel the joys of life. I think what I'm gathering is, and the reason why Avatar: The Last Airbender was the thing I thought of while doing this reading, similar to how the benders have their stances in order to channel their powers to bend. I'm thinking some somatic exercises might be good for you. That's what I would recommend. Because I'm actually transitioning into a more earthy spiritual space and connecting with Allah and, Mother Earth in general, but Allah specifically, and Sophia, the spirit. And I have really connected with the likes of Yemaya. As I embark on that part of my journey, I recognize that everything that I do, even though I'm aware of water a lot better, everything I do from here on out is going to be scary because I'm not doing my water bending anymore. I'm doing my earth bending now. I think that you're going to be fine. I think that this is good for you. I think this is going to help you really undo a lot of things that caked onto your soul. I'm getting this visual of like when you leave the pan to soak for a while, and I know that sounds really gross, but honestly, like, no offense, no tea, no shade, but you have some things that need to get soaked the fuck off. And so water can be turbulent, and sometimes water is very still. Just remember that no matter how much you're moving or not moving, a work is being done in you. A work is being done in you. And some areas of your spirituality you're gonna pick up really quick, and you're just gonna be like, yeah, I knew that, I know that, that's me. And some of it's gonna be like, am I failing this class? Don't be discouraged. These are the safest waters that you will ever embrace, accept, and lean into. And I'm excited for you. I love you. I'm gonna go, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.